Well, we are extremely excited for what's to come next. It is Who Wants to Be a Number One Pick?
There it is. You still love hot seats, still do. Still miss hot seat.
Let's go through them, Cal. We've got some names on this board and we're going to go through each and every one of them to discuss who wants to be the number one pick in this year's draft. Let's start with Cooper Duff, Tyler.
Well, there hasn't been a number one draft pick who's been a ruckman since Matthew Cruiser in 2007. So he could well be the first since then. Really good on the weekend for Vic Metro, 15 disposals and 18 hitouts against Western Australia. This is some of his form as well, playing against South Australia a few weeks ago. On the weekend, curiously though, only played 57% of game time, which was the lowest of any player in that game. So I don't know what happened there, but we need to see more of him. No more of him running to the bench, more of him actually running around on the ground. He's following the Luke Jackson and Riley Thilthorpe school of key forwards and ruckmen. Yeah. We see some of his ball movement at ground level and ground use. He's unbelievable at that level. So I think he put his name on the map as a potential number one pick at the end of last year, playing some great footy for the Calder Cannons. Impressed when he was at Essendon earlier this year. He's right in the frame to be the number one pick. There's absolutely no doubt about that.
He had a moment for AFL Academy where he's roved the ball at ground level after a big mark contest, and it just went to show how good he is below his knees. That's his one wood, isn't it?
Yeah, haven't locked him in. Not my final answer.
You got 50-50 yet?
I haven't rolled that one out.
Dyson Sharpe, he's going to be the Lark medalist, you'd have to think. Such a great campaign for the South Australian side.
Yeah, the best player in the country over the past 6 weeks. Sharpe dominated the lead-up trial games ahead of the under-18 champs, and then was clearly the standout, most consistent member of South Australia's side at the Carnival, skippering them to the title. As you say, will win the Lark medal. I'd be shocked if it went any other way. His size gives him a point of difference. 187 centimetres. He's a bit of a midfield warhorse, really. He drags teams on his back and just goes into battle every single week, where other players can maybe pick and choose. He doesn't. So he gives clubs a real look at what he will be. I think there's less doubt around what he could be. I think you know what you're getting with Dyson Sharpe. Can he be that Ollie Wines type of midfielder? Some clubs wouldn't have him in that top number one conversation. Other clubs do. So he's in that group. Zeke Yulan, Zeke the Freak. Zeke the Freak, we haven't seen much this year, which shows...
It's a bit of a shame. Which
shows how good his season was last year. So hoping to be back on the field later this season after dealing with that ongoing back injury, but shows the quality of his form last year, but also maybe what this year's draft is putting up too, that he's still very much in the number one contention. This guy can be Gold Coast Errol Goulden, a whip-smart left footer, creates the game from the wing and midfield, even half-back he could play there. Was named an All-Australian last year as a 17-year-old, played some good VFL footy as well for the Suns. If he played a full year this year, I think he would have probably been the number one, because I just can't see him playing a bad game ever, really. So Zeke could well be in that bidding range for 1, 2 or 3 still, even despite not playing much footy, if he does come back for a few weeks.
Speaking of guys that don't play bad games, Dan Annal, who's been great all year for the Allies and for the Brisbane Lions Academy.
Yeah, the Annal Lecter, and he's made him pay, hasn't he? He's been fantastic. A brute ball winner with slick hands, really smart with his decisions, ready to go, attitude and frame. Going to find it hard to break into Brisbane's midfield, isn't he, down the track? But I still think he attracts a bid inside the top 4. Has averaged 25 disposals for the Allies at the Carnival, nearly 30 touches for Brisbane at the Coates Talent League level as well. So held his own for the AFL Academy, playing in this game. Probably the best out-and-out inside midfielder in the group. So there's a few of different sorts and shapes and sizes. So they're all in that mix. As I say, I don't think there's anything locked in. Here is it, a number one pick. Who wants to be a number one pick? There it is again.
This man might be my number one pick at the moment, Dylan Patterson. He has been absolutely outstanding for the Allies in this Championships campaign and for the Gold Coast Suns Academy right the way throughout the year. He is so exciting when he gets the ball in his hands.
Yeah, like this moment. I mean, how good was this? He's just able to burst away and no one can catch him. He's the Rocket. That's why we call him the Rocket. Rocket Patterson has something truly unique in this year's group, doesn't he, with his speed. So he's the most fun player in the draft to watch, isn't he? The way he just gets the ball and goes like this, gets the rocket turbos on. He has some rugby tendencies. He actually knocked back a stack of NRL clubs who wanted to sign him as a rookie. So he's been a footballer all the way through. They tried to convert him to NRL. He said, no, I want to go to footy and stay with footy. So, I think what we're seeing from Dill Patterson, I don't think a bid comes through him at number one. I think it's probably in that sort of 2, 3, 4, 5 range in the end, but he's going to be very much in that conversation at the very top end of the pool, because, as I say, he's different to what the rest of the group is.
Speaking of someone that has a different weapon, Josh Lindesay and his kicking ability has been fantastic throughout the season.
Yeah, he's got the weapon that everyone wants. You know, that left foot kick. We've seen it for Vic Country. We've seen it for the Geelong Falcons this year. Wasn't in the thick of the action as much over the weekend for Vic Country, but continues with that beautiful left kick to just, with his eyes as well, can be able to pick off the targets and then hit them, and that's part of the trick. It's one thing having the kick, it's the other one actually seeing where to go. So there's a little bit of Hayden Young at the same stage of his career, under 18 level, averaged 26 disposals for the Falcons. I think he's probably at the back end of this group, to be honest, of the number 1 contenders, but certainly clubs have him in that sort of 6 to 8 range of the draft, and he's production level across this year has been really consistent. So again, you know what you're getting. If you're going for the number 1 pick, you talk about the number 1 picks. In the end, most of the guys that go number 1 across many, many years are the guys that you know what you're going to get.
Yeah.
So that's where he certainly ticks that box.
And Willem Dersma, the fourth of the Dersma siblings to come through the AFL Pathway program, started across half back on the weekend for Vic Country.
I'll tell you a player who he reminds me of. It's Brendan Goddard. I think that speaking of another number 1 pick from all those years ago, 20 plus years ago, Brendan Goddard is the type of player that I think Willem Dersma can be. Mr. Fix-It is not quite the right way to say it, but he can play in a whole range of different spots and has done it. He can go overhead. We know BJ could go overhead as well. What a great player he was, Brendan Goddard. So I think that's the play that he should be looking at to play like. Yeah. And I think the way that he started his carnival well against WA, played through the midfield, he's gone to half back and go forward as well. His scope and high-end work is nearly as good as anyone in the group. So that's what clubs need to work out as well. Where do you see him and what do you think is going to be the future for him? So that's my group at the moment.
7 names?
There's 7. There's 3 other names that I think we're not too far away from this group as well. Aidan Schubert, who's played a great championships. I think he's been really good. Ollie Greaves is probably in that next bracket as well. So there's another couple who I think will be around there. And also Mitch Marsh, whose form throughout the carnival has definitely been worthy of top 10 to 12 contention, but haven't actually locked it in.
You've only got a couple of weeks left until you have to do that.
It's not no, that's not true because it's not fastest finger first here. I get a lot of time to work out who this is going to be, but the Fandom Form Guide rankings are out 2 weeks today, I think is right.
Yep.
So I'll be phoning a friend maybe and finding out who should be in that top group.
I think you'll be phoning a few friends between now and then, Cal.